Pipeline Studio is about understanding your workflow and knowing when it's running smoothly. Temporal debt, system level view. The three pieces describe the same condition observed at different moments. Temporal debt forms when a system continues without reconciliation. It is carried as unresolved time moves forward through the pipeline. It is paid when deferral is no longer possible. These are not separate problems. They are the same pressure appearing under different circumstances. Formation is a decision. Carrying is a consequence. Payment is the result. When a system chooses continuity over alignment, time is deferred. That deferral is not erased by progress. It becomes embedded in how the system operates. At the moment of formation, nothing appears wrong. Output continues. Deadlines are met. The system behaves as expected. This is why formation is easy to ignore. As work moves forward, the unresolved time moves with it. Downstream stages inherit assumptions they did not create. They compensate to keep the system moving. That compensation allows the pipeline to remain functional. It also hides the debt. Carrying is not a failure of discipline. It is how systems survive deferred decisions. Over time, compensation becomes routine. Extra effort becomes normal. Alignment becomes something that happens later, if time allows. This is how the debt persists without being named. Payment begins when the system no longer has excess time to absorb discrepancies. Margins shrink. Flexibility disappears. Every task requires more effort than expected. The system has not suddenly broken. It has reached the point where deferred time must be reconciled. This is why payment feels abrupt. Not because the debt formed quickly, but because it was distributed quietly. Seen together, the three pieces describe a complete cycle. Formation explains why the debt exists. Carrying explains why it remains manageable. Payment explains why it eventually dominates attention. None of these stages contradict the others. Each one is necessary to understand the whole. Temporal debt is not a flaw in the system. It is a property of systems that prioritize continuity under pressure. The pipeline's responsibility is not to eliminate this condition. It is to recognize it early, carry it intentionally, and prepare for payment before it becomes disruptive. When this relationship is understood, the system regains clarity, not about how fast it can move, but about how much time it is borrowing and when it will need to be returned. Understanding this relationship changes how systems are evaluated. A pipeline is no longer judged by how rarely it slows down. It is judged by whether slowdown arrives with warning and control. Temporal debt becomes dangerous only when it is denied. When it is acknowledged, it becomes manageable. This is why awareness matters more than prevention. No system operating under real constraints can reconcile everything immediately. Some deferral is unavoidable. Some borrowing of time is necessary. The failure is not in borrowing. The failure is in borrowing without tracking. When systems track temporal debt implicitly, they drift. When they track it explicitly, they can plan. Planning does not remove the cost. It determines where the cost is paid. A system that understands its own temporal debt can decide what must be reconciled now, what can be carried safely, and what must never be deferred again. This restores agency. Instead of reacting to pressure, the pipeline anticipates it. Instead of being surprised by payment, it prepares for it. Temporal debt stops being an invisible liability. It becomes a known variable. And once time is treated as a variable rather than an assumption, the system can move forward without confusing motion for health. That is the practical value of seeing the pieces together. That awareness changes how the system is run. That awareness is what keeps the system honest. Temporal debt, system-level integration. Taken together, the three pieces describe a single system under time pressure. Not three problems, not three phases. One condition, expressed differently depending on where the system is observed. Temporal debt forms when reconciliation is deferred. It is carried as unresolved time moves forward through the pipeline. It is paid when the system can no longer absorb deferral without consequence. None of these occur in isolation. They are inseparable. Formation explains the origin of pressure. Carrying explains its persistence. Payment explains its visibility. What changes between them is not the debt itself, but the system's remaining capacity to absorb it. Early on, the system has margin, time is available. Alignment can wait. This is where formation feels harmless. As work continues, that margin is consumed. Unresolved time is distributed across stages, processes, and people. Compensation becomes routine. This is where carrying feels normal. Eventually, margin disappears. The system reaches a point where every unresolved decision competes for the same limited time. Trade-offs become unavoidable. This is where payment becomes visible. Seen this way, temporal debt is not a failure of discipline. It is a consequence of continuity. Any system that continues to operate under constraint will defer something. The question is not whether deferral occurs, but whether the system remains aware of what it has deferred. This is the system-level distinction. Systems that lose awareness treat each stage as separate. They try to solve formation, carrying, and payment independently. They fix symptoms without seeing the condition. Systems that retain awareness understand that these are the same pressure appearing at different points in time. That understanding changes behavior. Instead of reacting late, the system plans early. Instead of compensating indefinitely, it chooses when to reconcile. Instead of being surprised by slowdown, it anticipates it. Nothing about this eliminates temporal debt. What it eliminates is confusion. Confusion is what turns deferral into crisis. When the pieces are not connected, payment feels sudden and unjustified. When they are connected, payment is expected. The system no longer asks, "Why is this happening?" It asks, "What did we defer to get here?" That question restores agency. Agency does not mean the system can undo the past. It means the system can decide how to move forward. Some debts are worth paying immediately. Some can be carried longer. Some must be written off entirely. Those decisions cannot be made without seeing the full structure. This is why the three pieces only resolve together. Formation without carrying looks theoretical. Carrying without payment looks sustainable. Payment without formation looks like failure. Only when they are held together does the pattern become clear. Temporal debt is not a problem to be solved once. It is a condition to be managed over time. Pipelines that endure are not the ones that avoid this condition. They are the ones that understand it early enough to respond deliberately. They know when they are borrowing time. They know where that borrowed time is traveling. They know what it will cost to settle. That knowledge does not slow the system down. It stabilizes it. The system stops mistaking motion for health. It stops mistaking endurance for alignment. It stops treating pressure as an anomaly. Instead, pressure becomes information. And when pressure is understood as information, the system can continue operating without being surprised by the cost of having done so. That is how the pieces fit together, not as a narrative, not as a warning, but as a system-level reality that remains true as long as time is finite and continuity is chosen. Systems do not fail when they slow down. They fail when they lose the ability to explain why they are slowing. This concludes this session. Let what you've heard settle before continuing.